Welcome everyone to another episode of It Came from Facebook. Today we're looking at listings from Tampa, Florida. And if you're shade tree surgeon fans, you'll be happy to know that there are gold wings in today's episode. Tampa, Florida is a very odd place, a big bustling growing city, but it is in Florida. So in today's video, we're taking a look at listings, trying to ascertain value, trying to give you guys some insights whenever you're going out there and getting your own motorcycle on these used listings, because that's the best way to buy your first motorcycle. Without further ado, let's get into it and start it off right with this first Honda Goldwing. 1992 Honda Goldwing, $1,500, 117,000 miles on the clock, baby. It is hard to believe a motorcycle can go for so many miles, and the person who listed this motorcycle seems to have posted the same photo, just slightly different both times. So we don't have a lot of information to go off of here. Now, keep in mind, this is a $1,500 Goldwing. This thing is from 1992. It's as old as I am. I was born in 1992, so this thing is definitely long in the tooth. I'd wager to say that this Goldwing is in better condition than I am, if we're being perfectly honest. Seller says, open to trade for car. That's it. That's all the information you're gonna get. Now, have to assume that since this bike is so old, this guy's got the title clear and free in hand. It would be crazy if they didn't. From what I can see in the photos, looks like a couple stickers, looks like it was just your classic long distance highway slab and Goldwing. Doesn't look like anything crazy happened to it. And $1,500 gets it done. I mean, if you're adventurous and you want a big touring motorcycle in this style, well, Honda Goldwing might be the right fit for you, and these are often going for super cheap. I don't know what it is about Tampa specifically that has so many Goldwings, because this is something that pops up pretty frequently, as you guys have seen in Shade Tree Surgeon's videos. He's always got some crazy crusty Goldwing. It's kind of what he's known for at this point. And yeah, I think this is a reasonable buy because it's so darn cheap. $1,500. That is ridiculous for such a slab of a machine. I'm gonna go ahead and rate this a 7 out of 10 and keep it moving, because the next bike on the list, we have another one. A 1999 Honda Goldwing, 50th anniversary edition. This one also burgundy, also seemingly, you know, indistinguishable from the last Goldwing we saw. However, this gentleman wants $8,000 for it, $7,995 to be specific. And the reason is, if you can believe it, this 1999 Honda Goldwing, 25-year-old machine, driven only 5,500 miles. Now, if I do some quick math in my head, that's about 200 miles a year. Hardly ridden at all. It's kind of hard to believe. Seller description here says 1999 Honda Goldwing 50th anniversary edition, wine berry, new tires. All marker lights have been updated to working lights. 5,500 miles, $7,995, mint condition. And I gotta say, it does look showroom. I'm not gonna lie. This looks like you went to a Honda Goldwing dealer in 1999, you walked in there, you just bought your kids a Nintendo 64, and now you're like, you know what? I'm gonna bring it back. And I know this vehicle is owned by an older gentleman, because look at that yard back there. That is a nice, clean, crisp yard, clean, crisp, white home right there, and that old vehicle in the back. This is owned by a senior citizen, and they have taken care of it, and you love to see it. Man's got a trailer in the back with some other bikes in the back, an enthusiast, a fellow man of culture. You love to see it. 8,000 bucks though, quite a big delta from the $1,500 Goldwing we just saw. However, 5,500 miles is crazy, crazy low. So maybe you're a Honda Goldwing aficionado, maybe you're a collector of some sort, and this sort of motorcycle is gonna be a great fit for you. But I do think this is a bit of a spicy meatball for me to swallow for such an old motorcycle, maybe doesn't have quite as much of a cult status or provenance, so to speak. So I'm gonna rate this one 7 out of 10 for this one. Let's move on to our next listing. All right, folks, our next listing is a 2006 Suzuki Gigster. What is a Gigster, you might ask? I have no effing idea. Seller description, runs great, one owner, just updated, have to get rid of my bike. We have a video component here. Let's get the headphones on and take a listen, see if this thing runs right. Oh Christ, it's straight piped. no good. No revs either. Tells me something's up with it. Tells me something is up with it. I don't like to see that. Let's check out the photos. Yeah, you got the Kopfman shorty straight piped exhaust thing. It just sounds atrocious. Painted calipers, poorly painted calipers. That looks really bad and dumb. Why did you paint the calipers? Oh God, it's not a freaking Nissan Altima and you're not in high school. Slight stretch on the swing arm, looks different. 3-spoke wheels. I don't know if they did that in 2006. I don't think that they did. Man, this thing's in rough shape. 20,000 hard-loved miles on this bad boy for the Suzuki Gigster. Can we find out what displacement it is? I don't see any signs of if this is a 600, 750, or 1000. And the reason I say that is because it's difficult to tell because they all kind of had this same face, the old K5s. I'm sure your classic Gigster enthusiasts are about to chime in and tell me how wrong I am and how the 750 had a specific fairing and that's how you can tell. I don't know, I'm not a freaking Suzuki guy, okay? I have no freaking idea what's going on with this bike. All I know is that the seller, he says it's the only seller, he's the only owner, doesn't even know what kind of bike it is. He just put Suzuki Gigster, didn't even put 600, 750, 1,000, so it's not my freaking problem. I'm gonna rate this one a 2 out of 10. This is a terrible listing. You should not buy this motorcycle unless you are some sort of YouTube channel, you're gonna buy it as content, revitalize it back to life, that sort of thing. But the painted calipers tells me all I need to know. Look at this crazy ass wave rotor in the back here. This is clearly some highway roll race abomination with the shorty exhaust. This is Florida stuff, man. Florida stuff. Get out of here, God! All right, boys, up next, it doesn't get a whole lot better. 2006 Kawasaki Ninja, $4,000. Let's see if we can find out what's going on with this bike. We have a video component here, ZX10. Let's take a listen. Idling reasonably well. Sounds healthy, revving up nice. That's good. Okay, it's not the worst thing in the world. We've certainly seen worse with the Gigster. Ooh, boy, look at this photo. This is snuff film. I'm scared. The seller description says, needs some TLC, runs and drives, clean Florida title. Now, this one might be a hidden gem. The video component led me to believe that the motor is actually healthy and running strong. It turned on and it was revving up seemingly normally. If I were interested in this motorcycle, which I cannot explain to you how little I want to buy this thing, it would be prudent to take a close listen at the engine and see if you hear any knocking, ticking, that sort of thing. 40,000 miles can be a lot if the motorcycle was never serviced for its valves or coolants or oil changes. Those are all things that, if left unattended over time, will cause the motorcycle to have lots of problems later in its life that will be harder and harder to take care of. And folks, I know it sounds crazy, but 2006 was 18 years ago. Yeah, I know, I can barely believe it myself, but this motorcycle is definitely getting up there in age. It certainly looks like it needs some TLC. It looks like it's been mostly used on one little fat, meaty part of the tire right there, just going straight on a Florida highway, because that's what you do. This is the definition of a piss missile, is it not? This is the thing that car guys like to make fun of us for. You go and buy a $4,000 clapped out ZX10 and you just go whoop up on super bikes, because as clapped out as this thing looks, it's still monstrously fast. I want to impart that on you guys. Mid-2000s liter bikes, they were genuinely bananas crazy, because what happened is with the K5 Gigster, you had things making like 170, 175 horsepower, no TC, no wheelie control, cable throttle, just an analog death machine piss missile. That's what these things are. So this one, for the video, running and riding well, I'm gonna rate it in 5.5 out of 10. It does need some TLC. It's not very in good shape. The fairings are clearly aftermarket. It's got some sort of god-awful little shorty pipe exhaust on it too. So yeah, let's just keep it moving. All right, up next we have an interesting one. A 2024 Aprilia RS660 Trofeo track bike for $21,500. Now, that is the list MSRP for this motorcycle. I'm not really sure who is selling this thing because it looks like it's being sold by some sort of professional outfit, maybe a track day organization, maybe a small motorcycle shop. I see lots of bikes in the background, so this is clearly not a private seller. The bike appears to be brand spanking new because they put 999,000 miles on it, so I don't think that's the case. It looks brand new, freshy. One of the issues I have with this particular model, I wanted to bring it up, $21,500 is a lot of money for a motorcycle, particularly an RS660 that pretty much just has a couple Farkles and a couple things on it. This is, in my opinion, not a super high-spec racing machine that requires such a high price point. You know, when you're talking above $20,000, I mean, that's like you buy a nicely prepped track bike and you take it to like a really good level. You install top shelf suspension components, freaking carbon fiber all over the thing, you know, really spec the thing out. Like a $20,000 track bike, if you start, you know, let's say you spend 6 or 7 grand, get a nicely sorted 600, you can then take $13,000 and just drag it through the parts catalog to do sprockets and lighter chains, 520 chain, full exhaust system, flash, motor work if you wanted to, front suspension, the best tires, warmers, stands. I mean, you could literally have like a totally spec'd out track day machine. I don't really see the value in this Aprilia RS660 Trofeo. And in fact, in looking at the website, you're only getting a little bit more horsepower. Aprilia quotes dry weights for some reason. This number is not even close to being accurate for what the motorcycle is going to be ready to ride. I'd quote it closer to 370 or so. I'm not really quite sure. You know, it says, oh, lower riding position with dedicated racing upper steering plate, blah, blah, blah. It's got the fancy World Superbike style buttons and all that. The front cartridge, the front fork isn't even, you know, fully, it's not like a full drop-in Öhlins or anything. It's literally just like a cartridge kit by Adriani. That's something you could do at home on an RS660. Plenty of guys do that. So to me, the value isn't really there, but I thought this listing was interesting because I've never seen one up for sale, and I guarantee you it's up for sale because they're just not selling many of them, because I think a lot of people see that the value just isn't quite there. The paint scheme and the livery is really cool. It looks like the GP bike, so that is neat, but I think this one, we're not gonna rate it because it's a brand new bike, so actually I am gonna rate it. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Moving on. I know a vast majority of you watching this channel don't own your own bike yet, and that's okay. Soak up the knowledge and enjoy yourself while you're here, my sweet squid in training. But did you know I give away motorcycles here on this channel? I've actually given away over 50 bikes valued at over $500,000 in the last 5 years. All you need to do to get entered is go to yammynoob.co, pick out a hat, a hoodie, a t-shirt, a key tag, whatever you want, and every dollar you spend will be an entry to win, subject to a cool multiplier. It's the easiest, no commitment way to get entered to win. But if you want the best chance to win, you should become a member. Not only will you get automatic entries to win, but you'll also get access to our exclusive Discord server, spicy NSFW Yammy Noob content, and more. So head over to the website, get entered to win, and check it out. All right, up next, I thought this one was very interesting. It's a 2012 Yamaha Super Tenere for $11,000. Now, this is an interesting listing because this is like a fully kitted out touring bike that you can maybe do a little bit of adventure-y kind of stuff with. The Super Tenere was interesting because it was in the early 2010s before Yamaha, you know, released the FZ09 and then updated the Tracer to the FJ09 and the Tracer 9, and then they got the Tenere 700, and like Yamaha really just started killing it starting in the early 2010s. This is a kind of a pre-Yamaha killing it kind of days motorcycle. This features a big old parallel twin in it. It's a little adventure-y, but not really that adventure-y. It's much more of like a powerful, punchy touring bike on stilts type of thing. It does have spoked wheels, but this is really not a bike you'd want to chuck more than a gravel road at. Obviously, you can tell because it's a gigantic motorcycle. Single track is off the table. But What's interesting is $11,000 is really spicy, but the thing that this guy's trying to do is he's trying to combine his entire setup and sell it to you, right? And so in that sense, this actually represents interesting value because this guy's also selling everything else with this bike. So you get the bike, you're getting the hard cases, the nav system, the truck ramp, the helmet, don't want your helmet, fresh tires, custom seat, and too much other else stuff to list. So this is the nice little ramp system. Those are great because you can step aside the bike, you can ride the bike up. Those are really nice. They fold really nicely too. He's got the sat nav system on there. He's got the different windshields. But check this out. You see that built helmet right there? That tells me this guy got into this and just didn't, like, it's the classic thing for me when I see someone get into motorcycling and not really be a real, like, long-term, lifelong motorcyclist, is they buy a cheap helmet like a Built, and then they try to sell everything after that. This is a classic case of older guy with a lot of money, got into this hobby really fast, right? Got into it and just wanted to buy a bunch of stuff and do a bunch of stuff with it, and then just like quickly didn't care about it anymore. So like you got rock straps and farkles and cases and, you know, all this junk on the bike, and then you see no other bike stuff in the background over here. I don't see anything else in the background that suggests to me that this guy's, you know, a lifelong motorcyclist, right? And there's no shame in that. Maybe he is. Maybe he's owned this thing meticulously for 20 or 10 something years and is now just trying to get rid of it. But I don't know. It's a bit odd that everything is being sold. But again, you know, not terrible value for all the stuff you're getting, but I don't really like doing that because I would rather customize something to my liking. I don't know if I would prefer those hard shell luggage or that truck ramp or that sort of thing. So $11,000 is a lot of money for something like that. So I would personally pass on this deal, and I'm gonna rate it a 5 out of 10. But an interesting one nonetheless, because you don't see this kind of all-inclusive accessory sale that often. All right, boys, you had to do it to him. A classic 2005 Suzuki Hayabusa, $8,000. That's a reasonable price. Can we let's get a little clap for a reasonable price on a freaking Busa over here. This looks period correct, chromed out, slight stretch on it, lots of chrome, very shiny motorcycle. I think even the frame has been polished up or something like that. This guy has a video component as well. Let's take a listen here. Let's see what's going on. Bike is idling and running. That's good. Interesting. Okay, so again, we talk about wanting to see the garage, right? Check this out. Look inside this guy's garage over here. We got a jet ski and a trailer back there. There's no tools. There's nothing else. Maybe he just moved in. And then over there, he's got one singular lawnmower and nothing else. And a little ATV type of thing. Little suspicious. Typically when you have a bike like this, you would have a lot along with it because you maintain it or own it or that type of thing. Maybe this guy bought it as a fun toy and he's just trying to offload it now. It's a little suspicious. Got some damage on the fairings there. That's interesting. Oh, it's got air suspension. Look at that. I have a strong feeling this guy did not customize this motorcycle himself. It looks like he bought it and as just a stupid toy, and then now he's trying to offload it. Totally fair, totally fair. Seller description, Suzuki Hayabusa 2005, cash or trades, no issues, runs great, 8K, se habla español. Yeah, I think 8,000's fair for it, honestly. I finally have seen a reasonably priced Hayabusa on one of these things, so yeah, you know what? Even though it's a little weird and you probably didn't own the bike for very long, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 because it's a good price. However, boys, when one hand gives, the other hand takes. We have a 2006 Suzuki Hayabusa with a Z for $13,500. Jesus, for $5,500 more than we saw on the other one. Seller description, 2006 Cola Adelante, kits 300, a 300 section kits, botella hidráulica, that's I think air suspension, Brock's performance pipe, new sprockets, muy bien cuidada, that is very well taken care of. I think so, but again, so much chrome on this bad boy. Got some underglow lights on it too. This is, you know, true Busa boy stuff. It's crazy looking at a Hayabusa in 2024 and just thinking, yeah, people thought that was super badass like 20 years ago. People looked at that and they're like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life. And it's hard to look at them, you know? They're really not very beautiful bikes. But if you know the story, the designer literally made it grotesque and aerodynamic, and it just seemed to work in the American market, but nobody knows how to price these Hayabusas, man. Nobody knows how to price these things. You got 8,000, 13,000, 20,000. It all depends. I think a Hayabusa at this stage, a Gen 2, clean one. Actually, this is a Gen 1. It's not even a Gen 2. You know, this thing to me, this is a $9,000 motorcycle, I think. I don't know, nobody knows what to price Hayabusas at this point. So 7 out of 10. What am I saying 7 out of 10 for this one? This one is a 4 out of 10. I don't know why I said 7. Let's keep it moving. I'm losing my mind here. All right, boys, last on the list today, a real nice example. I try to find the cursed stuff, but I try to find stuff that I would personally buy and give people claps for. Check this thing out, 2006 Suzuki SV650. $3,975. Let's look at these photos really quick. This bike might be the cleanest SV650 I have ever seen in my life. Look at the frame, look at the engine. This is so nice. Only 12,241 miles on this thing over 18 years of life. I have more miles on my desert sled. I have more track day miles on my Daytona. Let's take a look at the video here. So we're gonna turn it on, hopefully. Look how clean that is, guys. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's in really good shape. Nice clean tires on it too. SV650 is just such a, look at that. Look at the frame, look at the motor. It looks fantastic. It's in really good nick. Come on, start her up. Give us what we want. Come on. Started right up. Literally turned over one time. Sounds nice. That might be stock exhaust. It is. That's stock exhaust. You guys hear that? That's unbelievable. Again, this might be the cleanest SV650 I've ever seen for sale. Under $4,000 gets it done for this thing. Can you believe it? All right, seller description, like new. Rear seat cover pillion passenger cowl tail fairing. Wow, that is hard to say. Clean title in hand, garage storage, showroom condition, low mileage, flashing LED brake, LED thoroughly maintained, original tool set, new battery, cruise control, ready to ride. Boys, this is the one. This is the one you wanna get. Look at that, you gotta be patient. Don't settle for the cursed Busas. Don't settle for the garbage out there. This is the bike you wanna buy. The other week we looked at that FZ1. This is our winner for today. 10 out of 10 for this listing. Absolutely perfect motorcycle you can go out and pick up. You'll love to see super clean listings like this. Well, boys, Tampa, Florida. One hand gives, one hand takes. You got cursed Hayabusas, you got crazy gold wings, but in the middle of all that, a diamond in the rough, this SV650. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. I hope you learned something with me. Hope you had some fun. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this video format. I will catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Well, you made it to the end of the video. Pat yourself on the back right there. And I've heard your feedback that you thought the outros were a little weird. So we're keeping it a little bit more normal. Everything is normal. It's completely normal. And if you want this to end, you just click the video right over there. Or become a member on yammynoob.co and win this bike over here. 51 bikes given away. It's no joke.